With the Sun and Mercury in Virgo, we are all learning what it's like to be born with the Sun or Mercury in Virgo. And there's an intense introverted nature to this frequency. We see everything that's going on around, especially with this conjunction. You might be noticing things that become incredibly obvious that weren't obvious before, and you might be saying, like, how did I miss that? And if something like that does come up, that might be the time to talk about it or to ask a question about it, which is what Gemini wants to do. It wants to ask questions. So pay attention to the details. Pay attention to what's going on around you. What is coming up that maybe you had missed before and you can't understand how you missed it, but now it's so obvious? Speak up. Ask the question. Welcome to the Weekly Transit, your guide to understanding the current planetary and astral alignments. Together, we'll explore how to harness these cosmic frequencies, empowering you to reach your highest potential as you navigate the days ahead. I'm your host, Scott Tajarian. Welcome to the Weekly Transit. This is the week of September 8th to the 14th. This week, we will be covering 6 transits highlighted by the Mercury Cazimi in Virgo. This week is all about Mercury and the Sun as they're moving quite close to each other all week long. And as they align with each other all week, they're both going to be aligning with the North Node in Pisces in opposition to the North Node. They're going to be aligning in a sextile to Jupiter in Cancer. And then there is the half moon in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. So this week is all about the Sun and Mercury. So let's get into it and uncover what it all means. I want to thank everyone for being here, for making the Weekly Transit a part of your week. I hope that what we share here is supportive to you and empowering you through the week. How was the eclipse for you? I'm recording this just prior to the eclipse, and I gotta tell you, it's intense for me. Definitely been feeling intense leading up to this eclipse. We'll see how I feel once I get through it, but I'm curious to hear how the eclipse, the lunar eclipse in Pisces, how you dealt with that. But it feels like, we're being stretched. We're being pulled into maybe more directions than it feels like we can handle. Or maybe I'm just speaking for myself because I'm about to be a father of twins, and it just feels like my responsibilities at home are multiplying as my wife becomes more and more pregnant. More and more responsibilities are falling upon my shoulders, understandably so. I can't imagine what it's like to be growing 2 human beings inside of me like she is. Really, really wild to think. But are you feeling stretched? How are you feeling out there? What's going on in your life? In what ways are you being challenged by life? Is the universe challenging you? There seems to be this polarity here. As we get into the week with the first transit, the Sun, the giver of light, life, and vitality, transiting through Virgo, forming an opposition to the North Node retrograde in Pisces. So this is a tension of the opposites. There's the sun, the planet of light, life, and vitality, the planet that represents our identity, transiting through the mutable earth sign symbolized by the Virgin and ruled by Mercury, in opposition 180 degrees away from the North Node, which is the karmic pathway of the soul or soul's purpose, which is transiting through Pisces, the mutable water sign symbolized by the fish and ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. This is the tension of the opposites. On one hand, you have the sun, which is bringing its vital energy to Virgo, which Virgo is about honing in on the details of your reality. And maybe that's part of what I'm feeling right now in just getting in preparation for being a father of twins is like, man, got to get the house in order, got to get the routine down, that routine and the efficiency of the routine. Like, there is no moment that seems to be like it can be wasted or fleeting or just kind of off daydreaming, which is what the Pisces energy is pulling us towards. We've been talking about the North Node in Pisces since, January 11th is when the North Node transited into Pisces. Let me double check on that date. Yes, it was January 11th of this year is when the North Node retrograded back into Pisces from Aries, and it's going to be there until July of 2026. But what we've been saying about the North Node in Pisces is it's about releasing control, because the South Node is in Virgo. So literally the South Node is conjunct with the Sun here. And this transit is occurring from Monday to Thursday. It's like all week, at least the first 4 days of the week, with the exact opposition on Wednesday, September 10th. Wednesday is Woden's Day, which is the Old Norse god associated with the Roman god Mercury, the planetary ruler of Virgo. Miraculous, Mercurio. Now, releasing control and cultivating faith. This is the theme of the North Node in Pisces. And it's definitely something that I've been challenged with this year, as I am encouraging everyone listening to release control and cultivate faith. I have been challenged with the very words that are exiting my mouth. It's like we got pregnant. That wasn't a surprise, because it was certainly something that we wanted. We thought we were going to have a girl, and even before we decided we were going to have a baby, of course I'm looking at where the planets are aligning. 9 months, 40 weeks from when we're attempting to conceive, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I think this could be good. Looking at my chart, looking at Gabriella's chart, our astrological codes, where the planet's going to be in 9 months from when we're attempting to conceive. It looks good. Yeah, okay. This feels good. Let's go for it. And then it happens. Wow. Okay, great. I'm in control. Really? Well, we thought we were going to have a girl. We were convinced we were going to have a girl. And then we had our genetic testing done. And I got the phone call. They said, congratulations, you have a healthy baby boy. Well, yeah, okay, thank you. Healthy, good, yes. But boy, we've been planning for a girl. Names of the girl, the imagination, my relationship with my daughter, playing out my entire life with my daughter. And then to suddenly be told that, no, you're having a son. That kind of hit us hard. I mean, of course I was grateful to hear that the baby was healthy. At the same time, I didn't really know how to feel about the son part. We spent a week kind of in mourning for the daughter that we thought we were going to have, but then we're never going to have. And then after a week, we started to recalibrate, and we're like, okay, we're going to have a boy. Hooray. Feeling better about it. We go to the ultrasound place. Gabriella's lying down. I'm sitting down, and the ultrasound lady is like, well, I'm glad you're lying down. I'm glad you're sitting down, because are you ready for 2? Huh? What? There's 2 of them in here. What do you mean? You're having twins. What? What? Are you sure? Like, what? How's that possible? Like, it was never even a thought. Never even a thought. And she's like, I can't officially tell you this. Only the doctor can. But what I'm looking at here is there's the scrotum of the boy, and that little hamburger thing there over there, that's the labia. That's your daughter. What? Wow. A boy and a girl. So we are getting the daughter and the son. So in that moment, it's like releasing control. I clearly have no control over anything here. And I have to just cultivate faith that this is a blessing. And honestly, in that moment, I've never felt more fortunate in my entire life. When I'm looking up at the ultrasound of my 2 children, I felt like the luckiest person who's ever lived. So, in having this experience, it's really taught me to release control and to cultivate faith. But then when you bring the sun into the mix in Virgo, maybe that's identifying some of what that I have, some, how do I put this? It's identifying aspects of my daily life that need to be eliminated. Virgo rules the intestines, and the intestines are that part of the body that cleanse, that eliminate whatever's in the body that is no longer serving the body. So this opposition between the sun in Virgo and the North Node in Pisces is encouraging you to eliminate aspects of your life that are no longer serving you. Maybe it's something on your schedule. Maybe it's something in your diet. Maybe it's something, a physical object within your home. Now this aspect between the sun and the North Node in Pisces is being supported by Mercury, the messenger of the gods. So the second transit is the support of Mercury, the messenger of the gods, guide of souls to the underworld, the planet of consciousness, communication, and coordination, the god of merchants and thieves. Mercury, the planetary ruler of Virgo, opposing the North Node retrograde in Pisces from Wednesday to Friday, with the exact opposition occurring on Thursday, September 11th. So from September 7th to the 11th, the sun in Virgo is opposing the North Node in Pisces, and from September 10th to the 12th, Mercury in Virgo is opposing the North Node in Pisces. So really from Monday to Friday, The Sun and Mercury are opposing the North Node in Pisces. It's helping crystallize the dream that is occurring within you. I'm attempting to envision what life is going to be like with my twins. Of course, I have no idea. No clue. No clue. I mean, how can I know until they're here? I don't even know what they're going to look like. Gabriella keeps saying, I can't wait to see what they look like. I want to know what they look like. Oh, it's exciting to think about. But until we get to that point, we don't really know. So we have to do everything that we can to prepare ourselves the best that we can. So what is it a part of our daily life that we need to eliminate so that we can create greater efficiency? And cultivate our dream into reality. This Sun and Mercury opposing the North Node in Pisces is helping us sort of fine-tune. Helping us fine-tune into the details of daily life. It's helping move some of the energy that's stuck, that is no longer serving us, pushing it out to create more spaciousness for the clouds to move, the dream to flow, for faith to occur. Spaciousness. Spaciousness. You know, I think of Virgo as a very controlling sign. It's gripping tight. Things have to be a certain way, but on the same token, on the other side, Virgo is about creating spaciousness. It's about clearing out the clutter. So we have the ability to breathe. Mercury is a planet of communication. You can't communicate unless you can breathe. You can't speak unless you can breathe. So maybe this opposition between the Sun and Mercury and the North Node is helping us create the space so that we can breathe, so that we can dream, so that we can allow God, the universe, to do their work, to get out of the way, to take our hands off the wheel. The third transit of the week and the fourth transit of the week. The third and the fourth transit of the week both involve the Sun and Mercury in Virgo. This time they are almost simultaneously, just as they were almost simultaneously forming an opposition to the North Node in Pisces, they're almost simultaneously forming a sextile, a supportive aspect to Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter is the planetary ruler of Pisces. Jupiter is the god of thunder, lord of justice, the planet of luck and expansion. Cancer is the cardinal water sign symbolized by the crab and ruled by the moon, the planet of emotions, The Sun forms its sextile with Jupiter from Tuesday to Saturday, September 9th to the 13th, with the exact sextile occurring on Friday, September 12th, while Mercury forms its sextile to Jupiter from September 11th to the 13th, that's Thursday to Saturday, with its exact sextile the same day as the Sun's, Friday, September 12th. This is focusing our attention on the past. Cancer represents the past. It's ruled by the moon. The moon reflects the light of the sun. Therefore, the light that is emanating off of the moon is literally past light. Therefore, the moon represents your past, your roots, your upbringing, your childhood, the ones who raised and nurtured you, your ancestors, your bloodline. The moon represents the home where you were raised, the home where you live now. It represents what you need to feel fulfilled emotionally and how you respond when you are emotional. Jupiter in Cancer is expanding those frequencies. Jupiter is the planet of honesty. It's saying, can you be honest about the past? Can you be honest about the state of your home? The alignment to the Sun and Mercury in Virgo. Virgo represents health, diet, daily routine, your job. We want efficiency in all those areas. But Jupiter is saying, can you be honest about the efficiency or maybe lack thereof regarding your health, your diet, your routine, your job, your work? And if there are inefficiencies that exist within one of those areas, then maybe there's something you can uncover from your past that could potentially give you insight into the root of where that routine stems from and whether or not that routine is still something that supports you in life. If not, then that may be a routine that needs to be eliminated. It's like the aspect with Jupiter is saying it's okay to be honest about what's working and what's not working. And if something's not working, it's okay to move on. It's okay to release whatever was in the past that was pushing you to hold on to the way things used to be and making that a part of your present reality. It's okay to create something new. Now the Sun forms that conjunction with Mercury, the Mercury Cazimi. That's occurring from Wednesday to Sunday, September 10th to the 14th, with the exact sextile on Saturday, September 13th. I want to get into that deeper when I read my Substack essay. And I want to thank everyone who is subscribed to my Substack. But before I go there, I do want to highlight the Sun and Mercury squaring the Moon in Gemini. This is the sixth transit of the week, because the fifth transit is the Sun conjunct Mercury. Once the sun, that once that Mercury Cazimi forms, then Mercury moves past the sun, and the sun forms a square with the moon in Gemini. That happens at 3:33 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time on Sunday, September 14th. And then shortly thereafter, Mercury also forms an aspect, a square aspect to the moon. So that happens later in the morning, sometime between a little bit after 8 o'clock Eastern or 5 o'clock Pacific time. So just a couple hours after the sun forms its square with the moon, so does Mercury. So there's going to be some tension at the end of the week. The moon's in Gemini, the mutable air sign, symbolized by the twins and ruled by Mercury. So Mercury's transiting through Virgo, the sign that it rules. It's squaring the moon in the other sign that it rules. The difference between the two is Mercury transiting through Virgo, that's the introverted expression of the mind. It's the thoughts that you have in terms of how you are consciously thinking, trying to solve a problem, trying to dissect something on your own, whereas Mercury is the planetary ruler of Gemini, is the extroverted expression of the mind, because Gemini is air. Air is something that can touch you, but it's not something that you can touch. Whereas Earth, Virgo, is something where you are initiating the touch more so than Earth is initiating the touch with you. So the tension here in the square aspect between the moon, the sun, and Mercury, maybe there is more conversation happening than what you are comfortable with. Maybe there is more talking and you want more silence, you want more reflection. But there seems to be some sort of tension between the internal process and the external expression. And as we move through that tension, hopefully we find the clarity of whatever it is that's creating stagnation within you. Maybe it's the very conversation that you don't want to have that is going to clear the stagnation that you need to release. So lean into the square aspect on Sunday or late Saturday night. Allow the words to flow, even if it doesn't feel like they're flowing, even if it feels a little bit clunky. It feels like communicating during this period, late Saturday night, early Sunday, is the very thing that needs to clear what's stuck. I hate to say it. Oh my God, do I say it? It's like a fart. It's like something is moving through the bowels here. Thinking of the sun and Mercury in Virgo, which rules the intestines. So something's moving within the bowels. Gemini kind of has that frequency it can be kind of off-putting. You often see that with those that have planets in Gemini where they say something, you're like, is that really necessary? Like, are you sure that it came out the way that you wanted it to? I mean, they can be incredibly articulate, and then they can say some of the most glib, foot-in-your-mouth sort of statements that are easily regrettable. But that's what needs to come about now. With With the Sun and Mercury in Virgo, we are all learning what it's like to be born with the Sun or Mercury in Virgo. And there's an intense introverted nature to this frequency. We see everything that's going on around, especially with this conjunction. You might be noticing things that become incredibly obvious that weren't obvious before, and you might be saying, like, how did I miss that? And if something like that does come up, that might be the time to talk about it or to ask a question about it, which is what Gemini wants to do. It wants to ask questions. So pay attention to the details. Pay attention to what's going on around you. What is coming up that maybe you had missed before and you can't understand how you missed it, but now it's so obvious? Speak up. Ask the question. Ask the question. I'm especially looking to all those who were born with Chiron in Gemini. Chiron, were you born with Chiron in Gemini? If you were born between, let's see, we got to go back to the 80s. If you were born, yeah. So Chiron moved into Gemini. That happened. That was in June. Let's be exact here, Scott. Let's not be vague. Chiron moved into Gemini. That was June 21st, 1983. And it was in Gemini from June 21st, 1983 to November 29th, 1983. Then it moved back into Taurus. So if you were born between June 13th and November 29th, 1983, then you were born with Chiron in Gemini. And then it came back in 1984. That was April 11th. April 11th, 1984. April 11th, 1984 until until the end of 1987. Yeah. So basically, if you were born between around mid-1983 to the end of 1987, you were born with Chiron in Gemini. Chiron's the wound in the ancient wisdom, which is unlocked through healing that wound. And especially if you were born in, June, June of 87, that half moon is going to be squaring your Chiron. There's also September of 86 might be getting hit pretty hard too. You have a wound to asking questions. And this half moon is helping you ask those questions. Ask the questions that Like you see something very clearly, but we don't want to make any assumptions. And so what comes up? The question. Get clarity. Don't assume to know. Don't assume that you have the answer. With Mercury and the Sun in Virgo squaring the Moon in Gemini, Sunday is ripe for an opportunity to initiate a conversation that's going to bring clarity. Maybe not as gracefully as you would want it to, but there will be clarity. So let's get into this Mercury Cazimi. 50 years of Virgo's Audit. The Sun, Mercury Cazimi cycle. Mercury never strays far from the Sun. By astronomical law, it can only appear in the same sign as the Sun, or one sign before or after. And when the Sun and Mercury meet in Virgo, the mutable Earth sign ruled by Mercury, the alignment is sharper than any other. It is Mercury seated on his own throne, in the throne room of the Sun. Mercury is not just a planet, he is the messenger of the gods, the guide of souls to the underworld, the god of merchants and thieves. He rules consciousness, communication, and coordination. And in Virgo, the Virgin, the sign of order, service, discernment, and purification, Mercury becomes the planetary ruler. When Mercury enters the vital light of the Sun, all of these qualities are illuminated. The message is undeniable, the truth inescapable. This is Cazimi, from the Arabic Kasmimi, meaning as if in the heart. When a planet sits within 17 minutes of arc from the Sun's exact degree, literally in the heart of the Sun. It happens every year. But in Virgo, it becomes a cosmic audit. Virgo edits, Virgo clarifies, Virgo reveals the flaw in the code, the crack in the system, the lie that cannot hold. And when Mercury sits in the Sun's heart in Virgo, history itself seems to pause for a correction, a revelation, and exposure, an accountability moment. Over the last 50 years, Virgo Cazimis have aligned with some of the most consequential exposures of truth and systematic collapse in modern memory. To see the pattern, we must follow Mercury through history as thief, as psychopomp, as messenger. In a chronicle told in 3 acts, as humanity's communication systems evolved from broadcast media to digital networks to artificial intelligence, Mercury's archetypal expression shifted accordingly, each era demanding new forms of revelation and accountability. Act 1, 1976 to 1995, Mercury the Thief, exposing the cracks in power. Mercury was born a trickster, the infant god who stole Apollo's cattle, the boundary crosser who smuggled secrets. In this era of centralized media and closed government systems, Mercury as thief exposed what the powerful tried to conceal, stealing the false mask to reveal the truth underneath. September 21st, 1976. The Sun and Mercury Retrograde meet at 29 degrees Virgo. U.S. bicentennial year, Carter elected. Watergate shadow still fresh, the thief pulls the last mask from Nixon's America. September 4th, 1977, 12 degrees Virgo, Mercury retrograde. Carter pardons Vietnam draft evaders. The New York City blackout exposes systematic fragility. The trickster reveals chaos when order fails. September 12th, 1979, 19 degrees Virgo, Mercury direct. Iranian Revolution, oil crisis, 3 Mile Island. Mid-Virgo demands accountability. The thief exposes energy's hidden cost. September 5th, 1986, 12 degrees Virgo, Mercury direct. Chernobyl, Challenger explosion. Engineering hubris undone. The trickster reveals human error in the systems we trusted. September 7th, 1990, 15 degrees Virgo, Mercury retrograde. Berlin Wall fallen. USSR dissolves. The illusion of order exposed. The thief reveals the hollow shell of empire. September 14th, 1992, 22 degrees Virgo, Mercury direct. Clinton elected. NAFTA reshapes trade. Late Virgo Cazimi illuminates systematic shifts as power steals into new hands. August 29th, 1993, 6 degrees Virgo, Mercury direct. Waco siege aftermath. Early internet expansion. The thief seeds a new era. Digital commerce. Digital deception. Act 2, 1996 to 2015. Mercury, the psychopomp, leading souls through collapse. Mercury is also psychopomp, the guide of souls who walks between worlds and leads us through thresholds of death and rebirth. In the years of global connectivity and financial upheaval, Mercury as psychopomp escorted humanity through the wreckage of collapsing systems, political, economic, and digital. Each Virgo Cazimi opened a gate where the old world died and a new one began. September 17th, 1996, 24 degrees Virgo, Mercury retrograde. Clinton scandals erupt. Internet boom exposes new systems. Psychopomp Mercury opens the underworld to scandal and code. August 31st, 1997, 8 degrees Virgo, Mercury retrograde. Princess Diana dies. Global mourning exposes media's underworld. The psychopomp guides the world through grief. September 8th, 1999, 15 degrees Virgo, Mercury direct. Kosovo War, Y2K panic, systems feared to fail at the stroke of midnight. The psychopomp reveals the fragility of our digital souls. September 20th, 2009, 27 degrees Virgo, Mercury retrograde. The Great Recession aftermath. Psychopomp Mercury escorts us through collapse, demanding accountability. September 3rd, 2010, 10 degrees Virgo, Mercury retrograde. WikiLeaks erupts. The underworld of empire revealed. Mercury guides us to face forbidden knowledge. September 10th, 2012, 18 degrees Virgo, Mercury direct. Benghazi attack. Accountability demanded. The psychopomp forces confrontation with political shadows. August 24th, 2013. 1 degree Virgo, Mercury direct. Snowden, revelations, surveillance exposed. The psychopomp guides us through the underworld of hidden eyes. Act 3, 2016 to 2025. Mercury, the messenger, proclaiming the age of information. Mercury's highest title is Messenger of the Gods, carrying words between heaven and earth. In our present era of social media, instant global communication, and artificial intelligence, truth itself has become both democratized and weaponized. No longer stealing in shadows or guiding through collapse, Mercury now proclaims openly what cannot be ignored. September 12th, 2016, 20 degrees Virgo, Mercury retrograde, election interference, email scandals. The messenger shouts, truth itself is under siege. August 26th, 2017, 3 degrees Virgo, Mercury retrograde, Charlottesville aftermath. Narratives fracture. The messenger warns. Lies divide. September 21st, 2018, 28 degrees Virgo, Mercury direct. Kavanaugh hearings. Late Virgo exposure. The messenger proclaims corruption before Libra's scales. September 4th, 2019, 11 degrees Virgo, direct. Mercury direct with Mars. Greta Thunberg and climate strikes. Youthful voices cry out. The messenger speaks through the young. September 6th, 2023, 13 degrees Virgo, Mercury retrograde. AI explosion. The messenger rewrites intelligence itself. What is real? What is fabricated? Virgo Cazimi demands discernment. September 13th, 2025, 20 degrees Virgo, Mercury direct. The same degree as 2016. What was hidden in retrograde is now pronounced in direct light. The messenger declares judgment. The pattern. Across 50 years, Mercury has shifted masks. Thief, 1776 to 1995, stealing away illusions of power. Psychopomp, 1996 to 2015, leading us through collapse and transition. Messenger, 2016 to 2025, proclaiming truth in the information age. The Virgo Cazimi is an audit of truth. Some years whisper, others shout. Some expose lies, others demand correction. But all remind us that systems fail, illusions crack, and the truth, however painful, must be revealed. The thief exposes, the psychopomp escorts, the messenger proclaims. And under the Virgo Cazimi, we cannot look away. Reflection, questions. When Mercury stole your mask, what illusions did he expose? When Mercury guided you through collapse, what part of your life died so something new could begin? When Mercury proclaimed his message, what truth did you finally hear? Virgo is the editor, the healer, the clarifier. When Mercury sits in the sun's heart here, history itself bends to its light. I hope this message has been helpful to you. I hope you feel empowered by what we've shared here. If you're still listening, like and subscribe to this channel wherever you are listening. Write a favorable review. I thank you for being here, and I look forward to reconnecting with you next week. Thank you for listening to the weekly transit. If you're curious to learn how these transits or any other transits may be affecting you, or if you're interested in learning more about your astrological code, contact me for a reading at theweeklytransit.com. This episode was produced by me, Scott Tajarian. Music written by Ben Leinbach from Listen Deep by Amber Herzog Lyman. Wishing you all the best as you ride the planetary waves.